They held hands and walked around the corner to the medical center. As they got there, Pablo was slowly lowered onto a stretcher. The doctor and a nurse were working on him right away. Miles looked up and smiled. "You got her down here." "I'm sorry," she said. "I guess I haven't been very easy to deal with." Miles looked at her in surprise and said, "You've been very easy to deal with. Don't ever think that. Let's just hope that we're in time to save Pablo." She listened to the conversation with the doctor, and, indeed, they definitely had some concerns about Pablo's condition, as his fever was so severe. But he was in the doctor's hands right now. She walked back to the door and asked, "Can we leave him here?" "Yes," they said. "We'll check on him in the morning," she said. "I hope he's okay." As they stepped outside again, Ryker and Miles looked at her and said, "Are you heading to the hotel?" She nodded. "Aren't you?" The two men shrugged. "I'm not sure," Miles said. "We need a night's rest, yes, but we have to check in with our contact first." She nodded. "Let's get to the hotel and check in from there. There's nothing quite like a solid night's sleep. We need it tonight. Maybe you guys are used to being Superman all the time, but for us, it's been a pretty rough day." "You're right," Miles said as they walked toward the hotel. "Let's get a good night under our belt and then see what our next steps are." "Do you think it'll still be a problem?" "Yes," Ryker said. "I still think it'll be a problem." "But why?" she asked softly. "You did your job. Look at where you got us to." "I would never have thought this morning that there was any way we would make it to the shore or to a town by the end of the day." "Maybe," he said. "But the thing is, just when you think that everything is good, we find out it's not quite so good. So although I get that you want to drop your guard and think everything's okay again, still be cautious." They walked into the hotel. The desk clerk looked tired and harried. He frowned when he saw their clothing, but dropped his gaze to the book and handed it to them to sign in. "We don't have any money," Andy said. He stood here, waiting. "I do," Manila said. She quickly walked forward and took one of the hotel's credit card slips, then wrote down all the details. The hotel clerk looked at the number and said in a guttural, broken English, "I'll have to call it in." "You do that," she said. He disappeared in the office, while everybody signed the register. When he came back, he nodded and ran through the remaining vacant rooms. They had only 2. She nodded and said, "That's fine. We can double up." He gave them rooms that had 2 beds and gave them the keys. As they headed up, Andy looked at her and said, "Who are you sharing with?" Ryker stepped in and didn't allow anybody to argue with him when he said, "She's sharing with me." "You're still that worried?" she asked, studying his features. "Absolutely," he said. "I'm still that worried." Andy lowered his voice and said, "Seriously?" Miles nodded. "We don't know what was going on up there in the jungle, so let's not be foolish at this point in time." "Good enough," Andy said. "I don't care anyway. I just want a shower. It's too late for any food, apparently. I asked. But we can get a good night's sleep and eat in the morning." "Exactly." They headed to their rooms, which were at the back of the hotel and up 1 floor. The good thing was that the rooms were side by side. As Manila walked in, she smiled at the quaintness of it. This was a small town and not exactly your typical North American hotel, but it was a room with 2 beds, and for that she was damn grateful. She headed to the bathroom and cried out when she realized there was a shower. "Are you okay if I clean off first?" "Ladies first," Ryker said, opening the patio door and stepping out on the small balcony. "I won't argue," she said and closed the door. She stripped down as fast as she could and stepped under the first warm water she'd had in days.